what you are about to hear is serious spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen or you're not caught up with the current episodes, turn this off right now because I'm about to take my pants off. Yeah, Soulja Boy is not of this time, and for him adjusting to this modern tech digital world that he finds himself in is it's just not going to happen. He's not a guy who assimilates. He's a guy who says, "This is who I am, like it or love it." He's very unapologetic about the way he is, who he is, because he's never had to be. He's always been the alpha, and Soulja Boy wants revenge on why he got taken out of the game, why he was left out to pasture, and nobody came and got him and brought him back. He's been essentially in captivity and being held by the Russians for 30 some odd years, and he's a little pissed off that his team Payback didn't come and get him, but more importantly, B, gave him up in the first place.
One of my favorite parts of this season is Kimiko's musical sequence. And I mean, when I first read the script, I was so shocked. I knew that Eric had been cooking up something special for her, but I wasn't sure what the scope of it was. And I think Eric really likes musicals, and he's always wanted to put a musical sequence in a work of his. And I'm honored to be playing the character that gets to do that.
I mean, you wouldn't know it from the stuff that I make, but I'm just like the biggest fan of like classic Hollywood musicals. I just love them. If I remember correctly, while we were breaking season 2, there was, for a minute in one of the episodes, like a big musical number with Frenchie and Kimiko. And never do this as a showrunner. I told Karen about it, which never do. And so Karen was like, "Oh my God, that's incredible. It's honestly always been my dream." And then it like fell out of the story, as it often does. And so I had to go back then. So it's just like such a rookie showrunner move. And then I had to go back then and say, "Oh, it turns out that it fell out, but we're gonna look for that moment. I really want that moment." So from that point forward, it wasn't just, I want to get a musical number in the show. It was always in my head that it's like Frenchie and Kimiko who should have that musical number. You know, we needed a reason to really dramatize Kimiko's joy at finally being powerless, or what she considers quote unquote normal, and her just absolute elation at it. And so at that point, it was sort of like the perfect place that she would express herself in this like huge Hollywood number.
Old man trouble, I don't mind him. You won't find him round my door. I got starlight, I got sweet dreams.
I got mon cœur.
Who could ask for anything more? Who could ask for anything more?
I can't believe I got to sing on this show. I mean, in general, I can't believe I got to sing on a TV show ever, but especially this one because Kimiko doesn't speak. I remember I had this really surreal moment on set that day. Everything was colorful, it was magical, it was beautiful. The first day maybe on The Boys where I'm not covered in blood, not covered in tears, and it was just, everything was so happy. And then I looked around and I saw the crew and everything came together beautifully, and I got to somehow be the center of that. And I guess a little bit has to do with being Asian American, a little bit has to do with not having confidence in myself in the past, but I never thought that I would be ever the lead of a musical. Even though that had been my dream as a kid, I never thought that would happen, that dream would come true. And then I had that moment on set where I looked around and I looked at Tamara and I said, "This is crazy." You know, it's only, 2 minutes on the show, but we got to film for 2 to 3 days, and I got to live my dream. So, yeah, it was a dream come true.
In terms of filming the musical number, it took weeks of choreography. I mean, they worked their off. Like, all the different elements of it coming together were so fun and such a pleasure to work on. And it was just really fun to get dailies that were not like completely cynical and dark and bloody. You know, it was just nice to have just something pure. I would do a whole musical episode if I could. If I could justify it, I would do it. But it's hard in our universe to like totally justify it.
I think I need coffee. You want coffee? Oh, yeah, I'll be right back.
I don't want to put a label on Frenchie and Kimiko's relationship because I don't think we've seen a relationship like theirs before. And it's fresh, and we don't know where it's going. It's kind of a combination of everything. It's a little bit romantic, I think. It's definitely friendship. It's a little bit of familial love as well. And what's beautiful about them is that they always support one another. And one of my favorite lines this season, I'm paraphrasing, but she said, it's, you know, he's picked her up in her darkest times, and there's a moment when she's trying to pick him up when he's kind of giving up, and she says, you saw something in me, and now I see it in you, Monker, my heart. And so it's kind of like seeing herself in him, and I think in other moments he sees himself in her, and that's how this bond is connected and so strong.
So Seth has a very revealing, take away my writer's guild card, revealing cameo in episode 5. And, you know, that's, I would call that just being like a good supportive executive producer and taking one for the team. We had a long list of like name cameos that we wanted to go after to put in that scene. And for some reason they all passed. I have no idea why they wouldn't want to jerk off to Crimson Countess aggressively on camera and then orgasm too early. I just can't imagine why an actor wouldn't want to do that dream role. So people obviously just kept passing over and over and over again. And every time we moved further down the list, I started to say like, hey, Seth, pretty soon we're gonna get to you. And he said, hilariously, and by the way, I love this about Seth's career, he's like, I'm jerking off in Pam and Tommy, and it's gonna be close, and you know, can we find somebody else? And I said, I promise we will exhaust every resource. And we keep going down the list, and then there's like 2 people left. I'm like, Seth, and then there's 1 person left. And then finally, like, we're just out of time and out of people. And I'm like, all right, we you know, I'm officially now asking you to please do this. There's nobody else, and it has to be you. And to his everlasting credit, Seth suited up, and he got off the bench, and well, suited down, I guess. Got off the bench and got in there, and it's so funny.
I worked with that Outbreak monkey once. He's very good.
I'm telling you, there is no other place in the world a monkey will want to be than right here.
I love our little chats, you know, but, you know, meter's running, so...
Hold your horses, there comes a lot, 779.
Yes, Countess.
It's also like really sex positive. Like he found a way to make it like it's not dirty and there's not shame. He's just kind of like excited to be there, and he's excited that he bought her anal beads, and he's just like, and he's like with the lube, he's like, here we go. Like he's just totally, you know, guilt-free about being there. And I actually thought that was actually really nice. I actually thought it was a weirdly positive message.
What the hell's going on?
Annie, what are you doing here?
MM called me.
Did he?
I just told her we might need some backup. That's all.
You shouldn't be here, all right? It's dangerous.
It's too dangerous for me. What about you?
Oi, you lot. Take your little tiff somewhere else. We're on the job here.
I think she feels really betrayed by Huey. I also think she feels really betrayed by Butcher. And I think that, you know, while Huey and Annie have both been the moral compasses of this show, I think that Huey's line is further than Annie's in terms of what she's willing to cross. And I think that drugging mother's milk, which we see in that moment, and I'm sure, you know, Huey is aware of, I think the lengths at which Butcher and Huey go are just lengths that Starlight or Annie is not willing to go to, because she's not willing to drug mother's milk to get something done. I think she feels really betrayed on behalf of him, and I feel like she thinks that Huey is starting to fight the fight from the wrong angle. And I think that it's a foreshadow for the rest of the season, and Annie feeling like Huey is willing to sacrifice other people to kill Homelander, to get to anyone and accomplish their goals, whereas Starlight is not willing to have innocent casualties. So I think she's starting to really detect and see a side of Huey that feels like his intention is right, but I feel like he's going about it in the wrong way. And I think it really scares her, and I think she feels a betrayal.
You want to Countess's head on a spike, don't you? Well, she's in there. Yours for the taking. Consider it a gesture of good faith.
Good faith for what?
I was thinking that you and I will come to a little arrangement. What you lot call a team up.
He has a bit of a vendetta when he arrives on the scene, and Butcher, of course, uses that to his advantage to team up and create an alliance. Butcher obviously has his agenda, but he tries to align those stars so that Soldier Boy gets what he wants and Butcher gets what he wants. Laurie was great. She brings a lot of great energy into a scene. She's got lots of ideas, but that was that was our first scene together.
Because I still loved you.
I didn't love you. I hated you. We all did.
It was a confrontation with an ex-lover, and we see in the filming of it, Soldier Boy actually gets pretty upset in the scene. I understand that I think some of that emotion was cut out because it didn't feel right. It didn't service the story as well as just being calm and cool and a kind of a stone cold killer. But he is very angry at the fact that the person that he trusted and loved and relied on not only gave him up, but never came for him, and then reveals that she's like, I never loved you, and so that's certainly a jagged pill that he is now forced to swallow. But it also kind of sets in motion this, or reinvigorates his idea of revenge and vendetta against his team.
What are you doing?
Annie, listen. We wanted a weapon. Soldier Boy's our weapon. He's how we kill Homelander. And Newman, maybe. If anyone's strong enough, he is.
You knew Butcher was gonna do this.
Mem never would have gone for it, and you... Look, you weren't supposed to be here.
Oh, so no more secrets, huh? Huey, you're teaming up with a murderer.
This is the only way that I can save you from Homelander. I'm doing this for you, whatever it takes. Remember?
I think the really important thing about addressing toxic masculinity in this season is that we also address it with a character that you never expect to see it from. And in fact, you know, when they first start dating, he empowers her and he says that her powers don't make him feel emasculated. He literally says that, and I think that's partially what makes her fall deeper in love with him. And so I think that it reflects the fact that people can be paradoxical and contradict themselves and be really complicated, and I think Huey becomes very triggered by the fact that he is continuously saved by Annie and not vice versa, and he's triggered in a way that he didn't expect. I think it breaks Starlight's heart because, as I said, this is one of the reasons why she fell in love with him, that he wasn't threatened by her, that she felt empowered by him and that she could be herself around him. And I think the most important thing is that, you know, someone who is unambiguously good, and that is Huey, can experience toxic masculinity. And it doesn't make him a bad person as long as he is able to eventually self-assess, step out of it, and learn from it, which he does. But the toxic masculinity thing, I just think was even more important to address in a character like Huey, because you would expect it from other characters, but not from him. But it was also an interesting dynamic for us to explore together that you've never seen before, that's completely unprecedented, and that I don't think the audience will expect. But I think it just reflects the messiness and the paradoxical and contradictory nature of being a human being.